with full knowledge that you're allergic to cats, you adopt 6 cats
I
into
don't
your...
have 6 cats.
With 3?
I have 3 cats, a dog, and a rabbit.
Are you allergic to like all dander or cats specifically?
I think all. So yeah.
So this is how bad it can get. She didn't take her Benadryls, poppin' bennies,
That's
as
not
they
true.
say in the club. That's my friend group. We show up at the club, start popping Benadryls,
In the club.
getting loose on the dance floor, passing out on the dance floor.
Thrown up in the Uber, and then I feel horrible for the Uber driver.
Dude,
Tip him
imagine
60
going out
bucks.
with sheltered 21-year-olds and talking about popping bennies and just like shooting up
Dude.
Benadryls in the car. They think we're out to have a good time. They're like, "Who's that freaky weirdo in the black trench coat and the top hat in the back of the Uber?" And I'm like, "Don't pay attention to him. It's the
Yeah.
Hat Man."
It's the Hat Man, but with a sombrero.
Absolutely. I can't believe we haven't done an episode on like or made a documentary on the Hat Man. I'm sure somebody has. I've Googled it on Bing.com before and other people are talking about it.
Isn't the Hat Man the guy with the really tall white hat from Fairly Odd Parents? Or
Doug
just
Dimmadome,
kidding.
owner
Doug
of the Dimsdale
Dimmadome. That's
Dimmadome.
right. That's his name.
The Hat Man. Oh,
I
roll
saw
the
somebody
intro.
dressed up as him for Halloween, and they had taken like several like of the really thin poster boards and taped them together to make the hat. It
Oh
was like
my
6 feet tall.
Gosh, that's pretty solid.
It
And-
was pretty
and
awesome.
Your people could like do that and still walk through doorways without ducking.
Oh, my people.
Yeah, the gnomes.
Yeah.
Or...
Yeah.
I don't know what we're going with. Where we're going. Again, as a recap, Bailey is 4'3". She's not technically like but it gets the
Not too
job
far
done.
off. I'm 5'1",
Yeah.
but
That's so funny because I always say a low number like an artistic embellishment, and it's always like 1 inch away from the truth.
do you ever buy lottery tickets and they're a number off?
I just don't think the last time I bought a lottery ticket was like with you and Brittany back in Hills when we had
Oh
our
my
lotto
gosh, in like
phase.
2016?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh my gosh.
I remember, I think maybe it was like, I think a New Year's Eve party. I think you came back from like getting some drinks or something and you bought like a couple lottery tickets for everybody.
Yeah.
And we like all won. I think it was like
They
between
were
like
the
10 and
scratch-offs.
$40. And we
Yeah.
were like, what the heck? Lottery is great, man. Like,
Yeah,
we-
the scratch offs. Oh yeah.
And it started, I think at one point I was up like $103 and I kept playing lottery until I lost that all and then didn't invest anymore.
Yeah. I don't blame you.
Which was fun. I think I scratched off like 100 something tickets. So, hey,
That's hilarious.
yeah, it's a bunch of scratching I'll never get back, but at least I didn't lose any money.
There you go. Mm-hmm. There you go. Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, man. So I've been thinking about historical moments lately, Bailey, which really inspired this episode that we're talking
Okay.
about. So I just
Are we
wanna...
talking about the election?
What election?
Oh, you're
So I've elected to talk about this topic. Can I paint a picture for you, okay?
Sure. Yeah.
All right. So, journey back in time with me to millions of years ago, all the way back to the Mesozoic era of the Earth, where dinosaurs roamed the land. There are basically 5 types of dinosaurs we need to be concerned about today, and that is the T-Rex, the Triceratops, or 3 horns, the long necks, the ones with the spines going down their backs, and then the freaky looking bird like screwball things with the pointy heads that kind of look like a Pokemon. So anyway, they're all chilling, figuratively speaking, as the Ice Age had not happened yet at the time, when suddenly the sky lights up. everybody looks up from their Motorola phones, as was the tradition of the time, because the iPhone wouldn't be invented for over 66 million years, and they gasp as they realize that there's an extra moon in the sky tonight, and it's coming straight for them. So, it's coming straight for them. This pivotal moment would shape one of the Earth's greatest mysteries. Today, we are going to talk about what happened to the meteor that killed the dinosaurs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
I did watch half of Jurassic Park today.
No way, did you?
To get ready for the episode. So,
Hey! All right, it's one of my favorite documentaries, Jeff Goldblum in his prime. So yeah, that actually ties into some of these points I'm going to cover today. So it's good that you sort of covered that to brush
Love
up
it.
on the lore. Yeah.
yes.
So this topic is important because earlier this week, my wife asked me what happened to the meteor that killed the dinosaurs, and I wanted to get to the bottom of this without having to utilize fake news websites like Google.com or Yahoo Bing, things like that. So, Bailey, you've heard about dinosaurs before, and
I think so.
Yeah, and if so, like, what are your top 3 to 4 dinosaur documentaries? Maybe like Jurassic Park, something like that. What are some of the dinosaurs you're missing the most tonight?
Oh gosh. My kids love dinosaurs, and for a while I could name quite a few, and then my brain made room for new information. So I'm gonna try. I like the ones with the long necks. What are those called?
Long necks. Yeah, like
Yeah.
Littlefoot from Land Before Time.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
the
it's a long
herbivore.
neck. Yeah.
It starts with a
Herbivore.
P. Yeah, they're herbivores.
Long neck. No, what?
No,
Starts with an
hang on.
L, you idiot.
No, it.
I apologize for my harsh words. No,
Okay.
it's a brontosaurus. I'm just
Brachiosaurus.
Brachiosaurus.
Brachiosaurus. Yes.
What the hell's a brontosaurus?
I don't know. Brontosaurus. Same thing. Same type of dinosaur.
It's just like a little bit of a little chunkier, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, that makes
Like
sense.
shorter but still tall.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep telling
yeah.
yourself that, chick.
Here you go.
Your Tinder bio is shorter but still tall.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a solid pick. I mean, that's one of the ones that went extinct, I believe.
But I think all of them did. But we'll find out in this episode for sure.
And as a matter of fact, actually, a lot of them didn't. Some of them are still around today, and some of them are in Congress.
Well, I know about lizard people, so obviously I am well versed
Absolutely.
in that.
Running Facebook media and all that.
Yeah. I do remember from Jurassic Park the velociraptors. I do like velociraptors. They are terrifying. If it's true, I haven't fact checked it, but if it's true, I think it's neat that they hunt in packs. That's kind of cool.
No, that's really cool too. It's
They're just like chilling with the homies the whole time, and then, they pick somebody out. They pick on a little shrimp guy, and
It's like the little
have
shrimp
Thanksgiving
guy
dinner.
from the Muppets. What's his name?
Beaker?
Yeah, just that. No, the king prawn guy. What's his name?
Oh, I don't know.
But that's what I'm imagining when they're just
Yeah.
picking on a little guy teaming up. You know, it kind of reminds me, like, similar to like when we meet up and we're hanging with the homies, with the bros, hunting for Pabst Blue Ribbons at the bar, like out on the strip. Like it's like the same story, different characters. Honestly,
Yeah. Like you are staring at the bartender, and while you're ordering, she doesn't realize that your friends are on either side of the bar, behind the bar, stealing the Pabst Blue Ribbons from under the from the cabinet. And then by the time you finish your order, you've already got your night's worth of beer.
okay, that's awesome. But the bar's lost almost 70 cents worth of merch. Man. You know what? I think I've told you this before, but I'm really like into subtle pranking bartenders.
Okay.
Like, just little stuff like asking for milk shots of just milk for the table and stuff. Just like little things, just that they're like, that's kind of weird, but okay. I want to get the whole posse to we're going to order drinks at the bar, but single file. And then one of us will order it. Then we'll go sit at the far stool. The next person, everybody steps up and sync orders, and we just populate the stools just like that.
Oh my God.
But we're all like, I think I'll have a dirty martini tonight.
Oh my God.
Could I have one with 2 olives?
Could I have my Cosmo with some milk instead of vodka? I'm just craving some calcium. What can I say?
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
my
man.
gosh. Yeah, great departure. But yeah, so everybody is probably mostly familiar with some dinosaurs, which is what makes this important. And most people know that it's widely believed that an impact event is what led to the extinction of the dinosaurs about 66 million years ago. But that hasn't always been the common knowledge. In fact, that theory didn't really start getting super popular until the 1980s.
Interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. So, of course, as we're trying to figure out what happened to the meteor and where it went, we need to talk about one of the most important events in history, and that is the impact event, as I'm dubbing it. So,
my first guess on how this happened is that God killed all of the dinosaurs because they couldn't tithe. Okay, anyway.
Thanks, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back with some more niche knowledge and nonsense. Okay, I'm going to start playing like 1 second of the intro between jokes.
Oh my God.
The little Eric Andre. Okay,
Yeah.
so getting right into it. Bailey, are you at a computer right now, like a desktop computer?
I sure am.
Okay, good. That's going to be important. So I started this episode, as I start many of my episodes, as I've mentioned before, by Googling what it is that I wanted to learn on Bing to uncover an unbiased truth. And much of what I learned shocked me. But no shock was bigger than this. If you would actually open the controversial browser Google, if you have it on your computer.
I do.
Okay.
I got it open right now.
I'm going to send you something on Discord real quick, and I just want you to pop this into Google to see what comes up.
Okay.
This has never gotten anyone in trouble before.
That sounds promising. How do you say that? Chicxulub asteroid?
Close enough.
Oh! There's an
Shocking.
asteroid that went across Google, and then it shook the screen.
Yep. So, again, folks, you can try this at home, but if you look up the Chicxulub asteroid on Google, a meteor flies across the screen on its way to murder the running dinosaur from Google's No Internet game. So, I guess this might be an asteroid. I don't really know the difference between a meteor and the asteroid. I'm a dinosaur expert, not a space rock expert. Either learn the difference or go back to school yourself. But yeah, it's a really cool little Google feature. If you just pop that in, I noticed while I was doing some research, bam, cool little animation, and then it shakes your house. It's very odd.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, a meteor is a small piece of an asteroid that burns up in Earth's atmosphere, and an asteroid is a small rocky object that orbits the sun.
Oh, did you know that off the top of your head? Or was that real-time research?
I just Googled it. I had it open.
No, that's actually really good. I wonder what a meteorite is then.
Oh.
Because
Let me
that's going to come up
see.
later on. But
A space rock that has landed on a planet or moon after surviving its passage through the atmosphere.
so we all learned something. Again, a lot of the time I use meteor and asteroid interchangeably.
Yeah.
So it's good to know the difference. So anyway, about 66 million years ago, things were going great. There were basically no wars. There were no asteroids causing mass extinction events. And then, out of the blue, an asteroid showed up and caused a mass extinction event. So,
Oh.
this asteroid was named Chicxulub, pronounced like Chicxulub, or some people say Chicxulub, or at least, it was named later. The dinosaurs probably just called it. The pronunciation is kind of contested, but you can say, whichever you prefer, whatever you want. It's not illegal to mispronounce the name of the asteroid, but according to KARK.com, which is a news site, it is illegal to mispronounce Arkansas while in the state of Arkansas. So, Bailey, I thought it might be fun if you and I broke a law together, so maybe we can both mispronounce Arkansas. And I will upload this in Arkansas this week and see what happens.
That sounds great. I love Arkansas. It's one of my favorite places to visit.
Terrific.
And
that was clearly just an example because there's no freaking way that's true. Love you, Arkansas. Okay, so I don't even remember where we were in the story. So it's 66 million years ago, and no dinosaurs have died yet, except for the ones that have gotten eaten by other dinosaurs. When suddenly, a large asteroid breaks through the atmosphere and absolutely demolishes Mexico. It probably wasn't called Mexico at the time, but we can't really read the dinosaur language. It just kind of looks like chicken scratch to us. The asteroid itself was about 15 kilometers wide, which is about 3 races long if you're into jogging. And it would take me almost an hour and 10 minutes to run from one side of the asteroid to the other. It weighed about 2 quadrillion pounds, according to binging it on the website. And it was the size of a small city, although substantially heavier and rounder.
so it basically... So I'm trying to envision this.
It was bigger
because...
than Mount Everest by several magnitudes.
Okay, because by the time it reaches ground, like Earth's ground, it, for the most part, breaks apart. Like most meteorites are going to like evaporate or just like fall into pieces before they actually hit the ground.
Sure.
So the fact that this thing was still that big when it landed on Earth is crazy.
No, it had an absolutely wild mass. And on top of that, the asteroid was moving at about 30 kilometers per second. So it hit the world with a pretty good wallop. With that much speed, excuse me, the meteor smashed a crater that's over half a mile deep and 200 kilometers wide today, but it was as deep as 30 kilometers at the time. So,
oh my gosh.
This makes it possibly the second largest impact event in Earth's history. For anyone interested, about 2 billion years earlier, an asteroid at least 6 miles wide, at least, struck South Africa. But, most people probably don't care about that because I don't think there was a whole lot of life going on at the time. It was a lot more desolate back then. So right now you're probably wondering what happened to all the dinosaurs, right? Wrong, because this episode is about what happened to the meteor, not about what happened to the dinosaurs, because let's just say they got squished.
Okay. Hang on a second.
Yes.
I have thought about this of like, what was it? Maybe it is Mount St. Helens. What's the big, no, Yellowstone. I'm thinking of Yellowstone. Like what happens when Yellowstone, the volcano there erupts, right? Okay. Have you ever looked into that? This is a little bit of a sidetrack.
Kind of, yeah. I see like the graphs of they'll say like what would be affected, etc.
Yeah. I know that it may be a little different. It's hard for me to imagine the aftermath of that. In school, I was taught, it hit Earth, the dinosaurs died out. They all went extinct. And then, they fast forward millions of years. There's the Ice Age, whatever, and then humans, right? So,
Yeah, I mean
but
that is how to condense like again 66 million years
million
into
years. But I've never stopped to think, okay, what would the aftermath look like?
Sure.
Like, because for me, when I think of Yellowstone erupting, which we should all be terrified of, because that would take out the majority of the United States if it happened, or at least half, the environmental effects. So I'm sorry if that's what you're going to talk about, but I was thinking about it a bit because I was like, there's no way that they all immediately died.
Sure. And actually, jumping ahead a little bit, they didn't all immediately die. In fact, a whole lot of them didn't die at all. It drastically did change the environment in a lot of really catastrophic ways. It changed a lot of the terrain in catastrophic ways, and what it would have looked like was probably more horrific than the Yellowstone eruption would be. Like, it was...
Oh my gosh.
It was nightmarish. Again, it was a pretty big rock getting hurled against the earth so hard that it was buried miles into the surface.
Dang.
But yeah, it was pretty rough. I'll talk about that a little bit actually.
Okay, keep going.
Yeah, for sure. So, Bailey, I'm gonna send you a couple of things here. These are some of my favorite photos that I found.
Okay.
I guess they...
From the event?
Yeah, from the event. I guess,
Oh.
I don't know, like that they kind of like captured during
Okay.
the event, which I thought was was pretty cool. So these are pretty neat. Here's one of a Tyrannosaurus screaming at a meteor. Below that, there's a Birdosaurus or whatever the flying ones are. They're screaming at a meteor.
Pterodactyl?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And then one of my favorites is another picture actually of a Tyrannosaurus screaming at a meteor. And I just thought these were breathtaking. It's just like a lot to think about.
Yeah, that's super cool. I don't know how they managed to get that.
I don't know either, but I'll
I'm
make
like-
sure to drop those in on the edit. If you're listening on Spotify or watching on YouTube, you can check out these photos. They're breathtaking.
Is this proof that aliens exist?
I didn't think about that angle. I actually didn't. There's no alien content in my script, and maybe I could have had a longer episode if I dived into that.
Oh, no. You're good.
So,
I'm totally doing an alien episode.
I'm looking
That's
forward
fine.
to it. So, we have reason to believe that nobody stole the meteor over the first 66 million years of important history, mostly because the impact site was only discovered in 1970 by a couple of geophysicists, Antonio Camargo, I'm going with that, and Glenn Penfield, who were looking for oil in the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico. A common tale.
Okay.
So, they accidentally stumbled across the cause of the biggest extinction event in Earth's history. And yeah, they were able to kind of use some, mix of geology and chemical testing and stuff to determine when this struck. It lined up with a lot of extinction event things, and they were able to eventually get all the study and science together to figure out how it, created years of darkness and led to a gradual death of the dinosaurs. So,
Wow.
if the rock was so big, where the heck did it go? Am I right? So,
Yeah.
as it turns out, it wasn't that big at all. So 15 kilometers is a huge rock, certainly bigger than most rocks, because I think that most rocks are cat litter at this point by percentage. But the Earth is over 1,200 kilometers wide. So, while images of impact events might look like this, I'm going to drop a nice little impact event for you right there. That's
Okay.
basically all nothing but, a fancy artistic embellishment. Whenever you see
Right.
the pictures of like a giant meteor hitting the world and, collapsing everything around it, that's just fancy art. A better comparison would be if you were just like throwing something the size of a walnut at
Mm-hmm.
something the size of 1,000 walnuts wide. Um,
Oh.
so it's like basically throwing like a marble at the bean in Chicago. Like, yeah, it's gonna go ding, make a loud ping sound or something. Maybe you can even leave a little dent on it if you threw it really hard, but you're not gonna
Yeah.
like crack it in half. Like the difference in mass is just, too broad. It's literally
Yeah.
again like throwing a speck of dust at a billiards ball. It doesn't really affect it that much.
Right.
So, while it certainly wasn't enough to crack the Earth or doom all life as they knew it, it was enough to throw a wrench into things for a few million years. So, for starters, a lot of stuff was set on fire somehow, and there was this big hole in the ocean, which was fine because it just filled back up with ocean. The issue is a lot of the initial ocean got vaporized along with a bunch of sulfur, leading to acid rain across the Earth that damaged the entire planet. But despite
Oh
acid
man.
rain, massive fires, and years of darkness from the ash, both from the impact event and all the years of burning forests and vegetation, only about 75% of life on Earth was actually destroyed, which is why we still have some dinosaurs today. Things living, ancient animals living in the ocean, like the coelacanths, I
Yeah.
think that's how you pronounce it. Even alligators, things that evolved, ages and ages ago,
Yeah.
especially things that could exist in the water or quickly, evolve out of the water.
Huh.
So,
And then
go on.
all of that to say, we would had that event not happened, we would not have had the hit song Acid Rain. Doesn't it go like Acid Rain?
I can't tell if you're talking about chocolate rain or purple.
I am definitely chocolate rain.
Well, I haven't thought about that in about 15 years. Um, oh my gosh, I just lost the
Continue.
game. Um,
Oh no.
so, where do you think the asteroid is at this point? And the answer is a lot sadder than a lot of people might be thinking.
I mean, I think it's just below the Earth's surface a bit.
Sure. So
Um,
that's reasonable as it did hit there. But the sad answer is that the asteroid that killed the dinosaurs is nowhere. So at that impact speed, it had so much energy that the entire asteroid was basically vaporized on impact. It shot a 10,000 degree heat wave and blasted apart every nearby structure. So there might be like some fragments out like here and there, but most of the mass simply vanished into the atmosphere due to the sheer energy of the strike. So
oh
this
my
is,
God.
yeah, and this is
So
interesting.
that's how things caught fire
uh,
from the heat wave, probably. If it was
exactly.
dry.
It would have only lasted, even with that size, like not long, like certainly no more than a couple minutes maximum. But carbon-based life, like, would have been just vaporized, like,
Yeah.
and it would have set fire to a bunch of stuff in a pretty wide range. It would have been pretty chaotic. There are a
That's
few, I didn't bookmark any, but you can see some like people have put together projections of what it probably looked like, but it probably like caved in some entire like subtectonic plates, as it like bursted in. It basically kicked up a bunch of dirt again, like 100 kilometers away. The ocean would have sunk into a massive void and then splashed back out like crazy, shooting debris all the way up into orbit. Um, it would have just been, it would have
what?
been nuts.
That's
So,
insane. And I'm even thinking like if you've ever heard a sonic boom,
sure.
that can be super scary, super loud. If you've ever heard an explosion, same thing, but something on that level. I mean, that would be even
Oh yeah.
more
I think
like that would even be worse than like
I can't
a
imagine the
bomb.
sound. Yeah.
Like yeah.
I mean,
Dude, I don't know.
even
That's wild.
tiny meteors can explode with the force of multiple atomic bombs. I actually have a note on that in here. But I mean, I think you've
Oh.
mentioned it before. But when they're like doing some dynamite in the mines around your mining town, like you can feel the rumbles. Sometimes you can even hear something, and that's
Mhm.
like a stick of dynamite. Like we're
Right.
talking about a literally again a rock moving at faster than you can see speeds, and it weighs two like quadrillion pounds. That's not a artistic embellishment.
Would it
So
have broken the sound barrier then?
oh yeah, absolutely. But
Yeah.
it would have
Like I'm thinking like this thing would have been really loud
it.
too.
I know. So, and
So,
they didn't have hearing
dang,
aids
that's
back
wild.
there, even. Yeah.
They,
And it's kind of
most
sad
dinosaurs.
because the Brachiosaurus and the Brontosauri, I'm not sure,
Mhm.
probably would have died first because their heads were closer to the meteor, um, or the asteroid. So
I
that's
mean,
worth thinking
in
about.
theory, that should make sense.
Yeah.
This is just a theory, though, right? Or is
Yeah,
this
I wasn't
proven?
there. I'm
Yeah,
not the
I
one who
mean,
captured these photos.
yeah.
Hmm.
I will say, though, a lot of dinosaurs were very dumb, so they probably had no idea what was going on.
Oh, that's probably just a theory. I don't know what they were, what they were thinking.
I've heard their brains are the size of a walnut,
Mm, I believe it. I believe it.
but I swear I know some people who also have a walnut-sized brain.
I believe so. All right.
So,
So this is interesting. There's a curve to the largest sustainable asteroid that we can find post impact. So, the largest space rock that we have intact that actually
mhm.
hit the Earth is called the Hoba meteorite, which weighs 60 tons, which isn't as big as you might actually think. Again, I'm going to go ahead and drop a picture of this for you in the
Sure.
chat, and I'll throw that up on the screen if you're watching on Spotify or YouTube. But it's
Oh,
probably about the size of like two king mattresses stacked on top of each other. Very flat, looks like it's made of like a melted kind of iron. And
mm-hmm.
it's just not as big as you would expect, but that's the biggest that we actually have intact.
So, do you know when that happened?
Yeah, absolutely. So I believe this one, they think hit between like 49 and 80,000 years ago. So still
Oh,
pretty
wow.
like a long time ago. And the only
Yeah.
reason that we have this one intact is because it supposedly hit the ocean at an angle and skipped across the water while losing speed and energy, just like you'd throw a rock across a pond. And it
Whoa.
finally bounced onto the land. And by that time, it had lost enough speed that it could survive without breaking up. It was discovered when a farmer snagged a plow on it. And now it's just kind of chilling
Yeah, they
there.
have like
They
a
like
little
yeah, they
like
excavated
circle
around it.
pit
Yeah,
built around
circle
it.
pit.
I would say though that like with it being so long ago, I mean, obviously it would have been significantly bigger, but with it being out in the open and exposed like that, it would well, I
So
guess
it
well when
was
was it exposed
so it
then?
was
Cuz you
mostly buried, and like the molten shells
okay.
of these things tend to be like really really sturdy because they are
Yeah.
forged in some heat.
Right. Ah, okay, I get it now. So it wasn't always in the circle pit
Oh yeah,
back
yeah, yeah.
in
It
like
was buried
okay,
under
yeah.
the ground, and a farmer was plowing a
He found it.
field, and
Okay.
the plow caught on a chunk of metal.
Okay, because here I was thinking like, oh, maybe it was bigger because we
Oh
have to think
yeah,
of like
people like
weather or
rubbing it
like
and
erosion and
sure.
stuff. So,
And
but
now
yeah, that makes a lot of
it's
sense.
just fully out in the
Yeah,
elements, so it's
that's cool
probably
as hell.
losing mass now.
I wish, I wish I would have found something like that in my backyard instead of a dead body. But
Did you ever get that sorted out? We don't have to put this in the podcast, but
yeah,
like,
we probably shouldn't.
yeah.
Anyway,
No, that's crazy. I'm glad it worked out, but dang.
yeah,
Sorry, yeah, to bring that up. But
it's
anyway,
all right.
yeah, if they get much bigger than this, this meteorite right here, they usually
Yeah.
vaporize. But the thing is, they don't happen that often, so we don't have good data on it.
Right.
The last, like, notably large meteorite, or I'm sorry, meteor, as I just learned, was in Russia back in 2013, which you might remember. A lot of people probably remember hearing something about
Vaguely.
this. But it was only about 10,000 tons, which again isn't that big. And it never actually made impact because it exploded 18 miles above the Earth's surface, thank goodness. So, yeah,
Whoa.
it's nice that it didn't impact and that nobody was seriously injured, though there were like some related. There were like I think a little over 1,000 related injuries, like from broken glass falling on people from the sonic boom.
Right.
But even a small meteorite like this was 30 times the force of the bomb that leveled Hiroshima in the World War. So, like, it's a
Oh my
scary thing.
gosh.
So,
Yeah.
um,
I, w- I
yeah.
wonder if a sonic boom or like a meteorite is covered by my homeowner's insurance. Because now I'm like, I sleep on the second floor of my house. What if there's a meteor or a meteorite
I think,
falling
yeah,
through? It goes
that's
through
the
my
thing you
roof.
need to worry about.
I'm toast.
You've actually heard sonic booms out there, though, and I think those can break glass and stuff, like shake things, can't they?
They have definitely. So I know I've said this before, but my house was built in 1896 or 94. I always get it confused. But we have single pane windows and they're very old. We need new ones, but that's very expensive. And it rattles all of it, like the glass and the panes. Like anytime there's been a sonic boom, it's like doo, and everything rattles and I'm like,
I just hate that sound.
yeah.
But yeah, the scariest thing, at least I think about this last big potential impact event, that kind of fizzled out and blew up in the sky, is that it entered our orbit completely undetected, which isn't exactly encouraging. I don't know, like, if they could really give us like any heads up on impact events in the future based on this. They have a whole bunch of excuses, like it was in line with the sun during this time, XYZ, etc. They didn't see it coming. So
Oh.
I guess I was gonna ask you what your meteor survival plan is if this happens again, but it sounds like your windows are gonna alert you, and you're just gonna make sure you're overinsured on the house.
If there is a meteor, I've never considered this. I've thought about Yellowstone a handful of times because that's terrifying. There's not much to do, depending on the size of it, honestly. I mean, you have all of the environmental effects that happen after if it's big enough. Like, it could start fires, it could blow up enough dirt that it gets picked up by the wind and then it's blocking the sun if it's enough and the weather patterns are carrying all of this. And if I don't know, like there's so many things because if that happens, the sun can't reach the ground, crops can't grow. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what
happened. Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, and that's what I envision happened with the dinosaurs. If it wasn't an immediate death, it would have been something, well, for a number of the dinosaurs, something that happened over time.
It was the years of darkness and the change to the climate and the vegetation and lack of growth and changed,
Yeah.
weather, freezing and everything like that. It's
Yeah.
not like the actual impact event just like obliterated all of the dinosaurs, which was a
Yeah.
big issue in trying to figure out the death of the dinosaurs because fossil evidence seemed to
Yeah.
imply a gradual die-off, yet people thought, there had to have been some cataclysmic event, right? It's not like they all just got COVID-19 and it like took them all
And
out.
just- yeah.
And yeah, that's exactly what it was. The environment became inhospitable because of the impact event.
Dang.
And what
Okay.
what I didn't know again is that this is all basically, it had been theorized ages ago, but this has only, in the last 40, 50 years been accepted as like, quote, the best science. And it's still kind of
Okay.
evolving as they're locking down all the details of the narrative.
Gotcha. I mean, that makes sense. I mean, for the majority of things, we just have theories. Nothing is quite yet proven, you know? So it's just kind of like, who's the best guesser? Who has the most evidence that can kind of back up their claims
Sure.
and what they think happened? Because none of us were there, you know?
And that's
So
really a powerful thing, what you're saying. And you can extend that to philosophically. We're all just out here trying to prove ourselves and gather evidence that we're a badass and that, you know, we're worth knowing and contributing to the world and being seen and being heard. And
there you go.
You know, there's lots of ways you can do that by seeing other people and hearing them and, you know, hugging your homies, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Back to your question though, what would I do in the event of, is this like a ginormous one?
Yeah, let's say it's going to eliminate you and 7 surrounding states. If you're not from the United States, it's basically like a kingdom.
Yeah.
That has a governor. You'd probably think of it as like your king would be like our governor. So it's the size of 9 kingdoms, let's say.
Okay. I would probably live stream it. I'd probably take my kids out to Dunkin' Donuts or something and buy as many donuts as we could. I'd quick rack up all my credit card debt, like just rack them all up in a matter of seconds.
The packages won't even get there. You just want the endorphins
You know.
of buying it. 55 burgers,
And then-
55 fries, 55.
Yeah, I think, you know, hug my family. That's about it. I mean, what else are you going to do? That's such a horrible thing to think about.
I was thinking the same thing. I'd probably go hug your husband and
You would hug Adam?
yeah, and just go from there. What sucks is Adam, just like the Brontosaurus, he's going to be the one who's dead first because he's so freaking tall. His head's going to freaking knock his head off. Talk about knocking his block off. He's going to get his freaking head squished first. We're going to have to watch his head explode. And about 2 inches after his head explodes, then my freaking head's going to explode.
Yep. And it'll just be like in Mars Attacks.
It will.
When all the aliens' heads explode inside their spacesuits.
Exactly. So, not looking forward to that. But yeah.
Okay, what would you do?
What would I
Ethan?
do?
Yeah.
I guess after I hugged Adam, I don't know. I'd make sure that I'd probably go buy a nice term life policy and add one of my overseas friends as a beneficiary. And, you know, it's like if I'm going down, I at least want somebody to get like $3 million from it.
That's super smart, actually.
Yeah, and they'd be like...
So to all of our listeners out there...
Yeah, term life policies. And, of course, the best term life policies you can find at Xander.com because they shop a bunch of places. They'll get you the best rates. You owe it to your family and those you love to leave something behind if you're taken from them. So compare the rates, the price of a stinking pizza.
Thank you, Dave Ramsey.
That is Dave Ramsey, yeah. I'm going to get sued by the Ramsey Network.
Sure.
Niche Knowledge and Nonsense versus the Ramsey Network. We start our first beef.
Who would win?
I think Dave would kick my butt, but...
I don't think so.
I think
he's all talk and no show.
We'll see. I've never seen him in the cage, actually.
I don't think he's ever... I don't think he has the guts to slash anyone's tires with acrylic nails.
Dave Ramsey,
saying.
I love your book Total Money Makeover and Baby Steps Millionaires. Terrific. But I don't think you have the guts to go to fisticuffs with the Niche Knowledge and Nonsense cast. Pick your
I don't think so
favorite
either.
Your favorite
You bald-
co-host. We'll do a 2v2.
You bald little shit.
My God. Well, so that's basically it. Again, delivering the sad news. This is, again, one of those topics where I almost wish there was more to it. But yeah, the asteroid, it basically vaporized. Or they just made this whole thing up. I don't really know. Something caused
So did
that
they
big
just
corona.
find a hole in the ground then?
Yeah, so what's really interesting
Oh,
about
okay.
the one that, again, it's Chicxulub, the
Yeah.
asteroid, is it's the second biggest impact event I think that they've observed, and it's got the entire like round ridge that burst up from the ground 66 million years ago, and
Wow.
it's still there. But that's why they're so interested in still to this day studying it, because it's basically like a fossil of an impact event.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's crazy actually going into it. It had so much energy that apparently there's like observed gravitational anomalies, like where the impact site was, because it pushed stuff off kilter. There's, I think it's a mineral, at least an element or a mineral. I don't really know. It's a metal called iridium that's very
Yes.
rare on Earth, but very common in space. And all along that impact site, the concentration is 150 times higher than regular
wow.
soil and rock. So again, lots of points, evidence. You can just look at it and see, but that it was an impact event.
Okay. I mean, I'm going to throw a new theory out there. What if Earth shit out the moon?
You just saying that the crater is the Earth's butthole.
That's how we got the moon.
So the Earth was mooning space, and some moon accidentally came out.
Oh, I'm just joking.
That's a possibility too. Yeah, that might be the case.
It's just a theory.
Other thing in astronomical news, 2 points. A, I think that Geminis should get 2 votes every election.
Okay.
And B, apparently Earth now has a second moon. Did you see this?
Yes, I have seen it.
It's by technical metrics, we do have 2 moons.
We do.
Allegedly.
Not enough to affect like the gravitational pull that the Earth and the moon have together to create waves and stuff. Like, it's not big enough.
And it's not like you
to
see
have
it
something
bright
like
and
that.
prominently in the sky.
Right. But that is pretty cool. There's also a lot of trash out there too, which is really depressing.
Right. Bailey's
So.
very unhappy with her Starlink upload speeds.
Yeah.
But I've been doing one of my other pranks I've been doing just with like kids and stuff is I'll point to the brightest star in the sky and I'll say, "Did you see the second moon is out?" And they're like, "What?" And I say, "Yeah, Earth has 2 moons now. There it is." And they say,
Ethan.
"No, it's not." And I say, "You can Google it." And then they Google it,
Oh.
and they see the news articles, and then they're like, "That's so cool. Mom, that's the second moon." And I'm like,
Oh my gosh.
oh, man.
You are evil.
Yeah,
but
they're going to
that's
feel
amazing.
so dumb when they tell that to their science teacher. Oh, my So funny.
Kids are so dumb and gullible.
Dude, I've
Why would
talked to
anybody
kids
have
before
kids?
who barely even knew anything.
I have 2 kids.
They can't
I'm
answer
like-
a tax question to save their life.
No.
Nobody
What
has
is
taught
this?
them any skills at this point.
Oh man.
Oh, heavens. At least your kids actually have developed a very nice, palatable sense of humor from the time they were like 3. You know, they start like joking around. It's almost a little disturbing.
It is, and today I was working with Atticus on writing letters on like this little like magnetic board you can draw on, and I wrote the letter L, and I was like, "What letter is that?" You know what he said? Scrambled eggs. And he started laughing like a little evil, like maniacal. I don't even know what it was. I was just like, then of course I start laughing because I'm like, what?
Sure. It's so odd.
Anyway,
Oh, man. But yeah, so that's all I've got on the meteor. The asteroid.
okay.
Asteroid. It's an asteroid.
You're good.
Yeah, it's just gone. So nobody be out there looking for it. Don't try to find it. This isn't something you can find. This isn't a journey. This isn't the One Piece. This isn't Pirate's Gold. It's not there. Stop going to the peninsula. Stop bothering Mexico. It's nowhere, okay? It's all around us. Evenly distributed across the earth.
It's inside of all of us.
I did
have... Okay, I just wanted to Google something really quick.
Sure.
We don't have to put this in the episode. But, so the asteroid killed the dinosaurs around 66 million years ago. And you said, you know, with how it affected Earth, I was just wondering when, like, Pangea happened. Did Pangea actually happen? Like, when the continents shift? Or is that just another dumb theory?
I think it's another theory. I don't know if it's a dumb
It's just
one.
a theory?
They were still teaching that when I was like school age, but I actually
I know,
never hear
same.
about it anymore, so I don't know.
I know. Well, that began supposedly around 200 million years ago. So that would have been long before the dinosaurs.
No. So the dinosaurs actually inhabited the Earth for about 150 million year stretch.
Okay.
So like 66 million years ago. So there were like big dinosaurs, like big reptilian, I think, for a long time, and dinosaurs in some capacity for almost 200 million years. So they would have existed simultaneously with the continents moving apart, which would explain fossils on different continents.
It would, but I
It would
was trying
also
to think if
explain
the asteroid
fossils not
caused it.
on different ones. Oh, I don't know. I actually
But
don't think it would have been that powerful, but I don't know. It's kind of central, I guess.
Yeah, but the timing doesn't match up because if it started 200 million years ago and then they think the asteroid hit 66 million years ago, there's still 144 million years between that.
Let's see. Yes, Pangea was a real supercontinent that existed between 300 and 200 million years ago. Huh.
Okay.
Break apart. It began to break apart when a fissure formed between Africa, South Africa, and North America. This fissure, known as the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, created the Atlantic Ocean. I wonder if we're still drifting just out there.
I don't know.
Yeah, and there have been fossils of the same dinosaurs found on different continents.
Whoa. That's super cool.
Yeah, so I guess the idea would be that there were populations of dinosaurs when the continents were united, and then they started drifting apart, and both of those populations still lived, at least until the meteor took them out. That's kind of wild.
That is wild because you know there were earthquakes 24/7.
Yeah.
I doubt any of them got any good sleep. They probably didn't get 8 hours of uninterrupted sleep at night. And sleep deprivation will drive you crazy.
It will.
So I feel kind of bad.
It will. It will.
Know?
Our thoughts go out to all those dinosaurs. All right. Fantastic. Well, thank you for joining us, everybody. I hope you kept some of that niche knowledge and you can answer your spouses, partners, friends, enemies, whatever, when they try to send you hunting for the dinosaur asteroid, that it's gonzo, dude. It's all around us. Scoop up some soil, get a fragment, enjoy it, put it in a jar, hang it in a picture frame.
That sounds nice.
Absolutely. So you can find us on Instagram at NKNPod. Big shout out to Eric Safaro for letting us use his awesome song Cherry Crush as our theme music. And again, go ahead and give us a follow on Spotify or YouTube or wherever you're listening.